Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to debunk 5 different scenarios and explain to you why I believe these are very unlikely, and I will also shortly go over my preferred scenario on the medium time frame and the low time frame, both bullish and bearish. So on the medium time frame, my more bullish count is that this is a WXY with the target of Y then being between the 1 and 1.236 trend-based fib extension. The absolute maximum target and also actually the invalidation for wave Y is going below the 1.618 at about 19.9k. And you can see that the target area of this wave Y has very nice confluence with my yellow target box, and the confluence is mentioned here on the right side. So a potential trading setup can be that if we go this low, entering at about the trading box over here with maybe a couple of positions, eventually the stop loss below the lows over here as an invalidation, and then trading it to the upside. Another invalidation for wave Y is if we take wave X over here, so we go up right now without even hitting the target area of wave Y. The bearish scenario on the medium time frame is that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of leading diagonal, and wave C and B are already finished, and we're looking there for a 1, 2, and then eventually a 3 for way more downside to at least prices of about 15.4k, but more likely between 10 and 13k. On the low time frame, my preferred scenario that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment, or the more bullish scenario I should say as well, is that we are in a WXY, where currently, here is X again, we are in WXY, with then the W already being made in some sort of a three-wave structure over here, then followed by another three-wave structure that I'm looking for, where the three-wave structure has to take at least these highs. I'm now thinking of some sort of an expanded flat, so this then being some sort of an A, B, and then eventually a C to the upside. The target for an expanded flat is the 1.236 and the 1.38 Fibonacci, taken from the low of W to the high that we made over here. And you can see it has nice confluence with a couple of other confluences in my target box, including a weekly, daily, and daily naked point of control. We got close, but not there just yet. So I would still like some price to go down and at least touch these levels, maybe with a wick closing inside and then move to the upside. But this is what I'm currently looking for in like a WXY. Potential trading setup is then entering around the 1.236 or in this area, stop loss below the low, and then trade it to the upside to at least taking this high. But there's quite a void over here, so price could go up pretty quickly and pretty fast. And then eventually at the high of X, where we have another target box over here, which is the range point of control, including a daily and a couple of highs, as well as the 786, can be a trade to the short side, entering around here, stop loss above the highs, and then trading it down again. Now I do have to say, as you maybe have read already, at 4 p.m. we have some news which you can see over here. So at 4 p.m. Which is Central East European time, by the way, we have a couple of red signals over here. So there is news at 4 p.m. today, which means that we can have quite a lot of volatility at about 4 p.m. Central East European time, which is about here. So make sure to keep an eye on that. I would expect if we would take these lows and the liquidity and then move up, most likely around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I would assume. Another thing is that I don't catch knives. So if we get a lot of volume and a lot of volatility and prices moving to the downside, I've learned my lesson in the past. I'm not catching any knives. I will make a video about that in the future, but I wait for price to show its hands. If it goes down and then eventually, moves up, maybe I'm considering a trade. I have a whole different strategy of actually entering the trades, but more about that in a future video. So now let's debunk a couple of scenarios that I have over here. So first of all, I want to debunk a potential ABC that you see right now. So then over here should somewhere be the high and the beginning of then a 3-wave A, then a 3-wave B, and then a 5-wave C. Now the reason why this one for me won't work is because only flats are 335 scenarios. And this could be a running flat, basically saying that a running flat is a 3-wave structure. So then we have a 3, 3, and then eventually a 5-wave down. However, the wave B in a running flat usually at least goes to the 618. However, a running flat in general is very rare. So this being a running flat, yes, it is possible, but again, it's very rare, guys, very rare. Now, if this would be a regular flat, and a regular flat is then an A, minimum target of a regular flat is the 0.9 and the maximum target is the 1.05 Fibonacci, and then move down, well, then wave B has to go all the way up here. But as you can see, it clearly didn't go all the way up here. So it can't be a regular flat, and it definitely can't be an expanded flat, because then you have an A, a B, and then a C. So in this scenario, for me personally, it's very, very unlikely this is an impulsive 5-wave move to the downside in a 1, 2, and then whatever this is, 3, 4, 5. A only valid potential in this scenario is that this is not an ABC, because an ABC is a 3, 3, 5, but this is a WXY, meaning a 3, 3, 3 type of move, where then the first part of this move is a potential 5-wave structure, and then you get a zigzag, meaning a 5, 3, 5 to end the WXY. That is the only option I see for a potential impulse in this certain scenario. Then on the lower time frame, which are the remaining scenarios, I have 4 more. So debunking basically this ABC. So if this is an A over here, then this has to be a 5-wave structure, and then somehow this has to be some sort of a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a very extended 5, or a 1, 2, and then 3, and then somewhere in this candle, I'm on the 1 hour time frame, we have a very short 4 and then 5. So that is already very difficult to count. It's like, how do you count 5 waves in the A? Very difficult over here. Another thing is that we have a wave B going on. Now, wave B usually has the minimum target of hitting the 382 fib taken from the high of A to the low of A. The only pattern that does not hit the 382 or still can but might not is a running triangle, as you can read over here. And a running triangle basically means that we have a wave A, then we have a B going below the A, so we have an A, B, and then a C, D, E before then downside. This is the only pattern in a wave B that is not gonna hit basically the 382. So then the 236 would be a very valid target. However, as you can see, if this is a triangle at all, it's not a running triangle. It didn't go from A, B, C, D, E, as you can see. So very unlikely for me. All the other correction patterns, like an expanded flat or a zigzag pattern or whatever it is, should hit at least the 382 as a minimum target, which did not happen. So therefore, I think this A, B, and then we're already in wave C is very unlikely, because that's what it's about. Like, are we still in a 3-wave correction, or is the correction finished and are we going to move down in a potential wave C in this scenario? Well, I think that is pretty unlikely because of what I just explained. So I would still expect therefore somehow a move to the upside to take at least these highs, hit the 382 instead of just moving down. Now, each of the scenarios I'm kind of debunking right now are not 100% invalidated, right? In the end, it's trading. We have to be open for all the scenarios, but I'm just explaining why I believe these are very unlikely, but not, of course, completely impossible. The same, by the way, with the WXY. Is this, if this is a W, then it's a 3-wave structure, I think more likely. Then we have some sort of an X and then a Y, but again, in the X, same scenario. Yes, a running triangle is a possibility to not hit the 382, but all the other scenarios hit the 382 and it didn't happen. And a running triangle, again, it is very rare, and also it just didn't happen on the chart. So yeah, I don't think we're already in a wave Y to the downside. Then we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 over here. So this is then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then inside the bigger 3 we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the problem I have here is that, first of all, it's very difficult to count 5 waves in this wave 1. If you go to the lower time frames, it's more clear that this is somehow a 3-wave structure instead of like a very clear like leading diagonal wave 1, which then is a 3, 3, 3, 3, or it's very difficult to count this wave 1 properly. Besides, the wide wave 4, as written over here, is very, very long compared to this very short wide wave 2. And also this wave 4 is very long compared to the impulse wave of 3. And both wave 2 and wave 4 have a relationship, as well as wave 3 and wave 4. And wave 4 is just ridiculously long, very, very long in comparison to 2 as well as the impulse. So therefore, I think this scenario is also highly unlikely. And then the final scenario I have is this impulse, which actually is a scenario I had in my previous 2 videos, I think. But the more I look at it, the more it becomes unlikely. At least it's more likely than the previous 1, 2, 1, 2. But it's just something I don't really like. Again, wave 1, very difficult to count. So then maybe you have to put the wave 1 down here. But if you put the wave 1 down here and this is wave 2, then wave 4 is just so ridiculously long that it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? It's just that feeling of it doesn't match. So yeah, therefore, I also think that this being somehow some sort of an impulsive structure is not really something I like, and therefore think it is very unlikely. So still, till now, this is going to be my preferred scenario. Of course, invalidation is if we push through to the downside, well, then it is the way it is, especially with the potential volatility that we can get at like 4 p.m. CET later today. Maybe price is going to push through. Maybe it's going to grab the liquidity below these lows over here. But till now, the most probable scenario for me is this somehow being a WXY and at least taking these highs once more. That is what I think right now. So yeah, that being said, I hope you found value in this video. Please subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments what you think. Are there any other scenarios that you think of that you think I should highlight in my video at 7 p.m. tonight at Central East European time? Let me know in the comments what you think about the different scenarios as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. I see you at the next one. Bye bye.